All right, there's probably nobody here yet because I'm starting way early. I'm starting like an hour and a half early. But once people start filing in here, we'll get started. Hopefully, notifications will go out and everything else because I'm starting way early. My daughter wants to watch a movie, so I'm going to start a little early. I hope that's okay with everyone. But if you're here and you can hear me, let me know in the comments. Hope everyone's doing good tonight. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Jeff Wittek and David Dobrik. They had a big falling out. And we are going to react to Jeff's podcast where he talks about David. Hey, everyone. There's all the comments. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Yolisma. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Problematic Fave. Czar. Not Megan. Alabama Yaw. Resistance. Rhonda. Bijou. Hey guys, it's me, Christy Lee, J Cat, Kiwi, Steph. Night 2 of streaming. I hope you guys are up for it. And it's gonna be nice to talk about like a different topic. So I'm really glad that you guys are here and I hope you're cool with me starting early. And we're gonna probably just jump right into it and get started. So to my understanding, there is like a roast of Bryce Hall that Jason Nash was gonna upload is gonna upload on his channel. I don't know if he's uploaded it yet. But to my understanding, Jeff was gonna be a part of the roast and they ended up cutting a bunch of his jokes out, and I guess that upset him. And he also had like a recent surgery, and David hasn't reached out to him, asked him how he was doing, none of that. So that's what kind of started this whole thing between Jeff and David. Um, the first part that was leaked was a live stream on his Patreon. And the only place I can really find this clip is on the H3 podcast. So we're going to watch this clip first before we get into Jeff's podcast. Let me switch screens really quick. Okay, cool. Um, so somebody asked Jeff about David, and this is what he said.
Has David messaged you to see if you're okay?
Nope, not a text or nothing. Not surprised, It is what it is. But I'm done being fake friends with that motherfucker. So that's
Hey, can you?
I genuinely feel bad. I mean, this guy is
So somebody asked Jeff if David has reached out to him because a lot of people know that Jeff just had an eye surgery, and that's what he responded with. And he unfollowed David on all of his social media. So that kind of like started an uproar with everyone, like what's going on with them. And then Jeff posted a podcast episode that was titled Dear David, and that's what we're going to react to. Let me switch screens again and we'll get into that. Hey, how's everyone doing? Everyone's starting to file in here now. I knew like me going like live early was gonna throw you guys off. All right. So he really starts talking about it like 10 minutes into this podcast. So that's where we're going to start at. And we're just going to kind of react to the whole thing. I have not watched this whole thing. I watched a little bit of it. So you're going to get my first reaction on some of this stuff. Let me make it a bigger screen. All right, cool. Here we go.
Yeah.
But we're back, and I want to just talk about some stuff. I want to get through some points because I've been protecting this guy for so long, and there's so much more to the story than just him not texting me for a week after I had such a drastic surgery where I could have been blind. But I just didn't plan on that getting ripped because on Patreon we have that audience of maybe 100 people in a live stream where I feel like I could just talk more freely. It felt really good to get that off my chest. It felt good to get that out there. It felt good to hit that unfollow button. I woke up from surgery and a day goes by, no text from him. Another day goes by, no text. I look at his Instagram because it's the first one that always fucking pops up, his algorithm or whatever. and it's just him like, oh, I'm so happy with my life right now, my vlogs and everything, just promoting his vlog. And I was just like, you got time to do this, but you can't text me and be like, hey, did you go blind or not from my actions?
I think it's pretty shitty he didn't reach out to Jeff. I mean, considering everything that Jeff has gone through, it's just pretty shitty for him not to reach out and say, "Hey, how'd the surgery go? Um, are you doing okay? What did they say?" I mean, something. Especially because like when all of this came out, um, you know, Jeff was like saying there's no hard feelings between me and David, that sort of thing. They seemed like they both still supported each other. Jeff said that David was paying for all of his medical bills, which I think he talks about that later. Um, it's just kind of weird. And then considering everything that happened to David and all of the people that called him out on stuff that he had done, it's just really weird that he didn't he didn't even reach out to Jeff. So, I think that is pretty shitty.
just want to fucking tell the truth finally. Like
Tell
I
the
gave
truth.
this motherfucker so many chances. Even now, a week later, I still haven't heard a peep. I've been posting shit on Instagram because it feels good. Because you fucked me so bad mentally and physically.
Is everything running okay? It says the chat froze. Is everything running okay on your guys' end? Let me pull up the stream. Is everything all right? It says the chat froze. I just want to make sure everything is streaming okay. Okay, it seemed to be going okay. Sorry, guys. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't like freezing on you guys. If it's freezing, let me know, please.
That yeah, this is how I cope now.
You're not holding back no more.
No, I'm not holding back anymore. I kind of pissed off that even in the documentary we made, we sugarcoated it. There was so much more that I could have said, but I tried to protect this guy for so long. It takes time to see people's true colors. Even me and this guy right here, we've had horrible fights. We fist fought each other. We grew up together. We've had moments where we didn't speak for years, but we always seem to find each other and come back and meet at a moral ground. We can talk things out and communicate. But at this point, I've just completely given up, and it feels good,
I think that you're just more like going through a lot of emotions because at some point you did click out with these kids.
It would be really hard, like, I don't know. I guess it would just all depend on how the person is acting towards me. If there was such an accident that big that caused me to almost go blind, um, because David was driving the crane, but Jeff also made the decision to get on the crane. But I don't know. It would be hard for me to stay friends with somebody just knowing that, they made that mistake and I almost went blind. You know what I mean? Um, and he did really sugarcoat it in the documentary that he did on David. And I just thought that was because maybe they were still friends, but it just kind of seems like they were maybe just putting on a front for the audience to make it appear that they were okay. I don't know. I don't know.
And even like not to sound emotional or anything, because the best thing that you ever did for me was to distance yourself from me, because then I was able to find myself and find my path. But I think like it hurts you more the most because
Well, you were on a lot of drugs. You were robbing people. You were doing all types
no,
of
no, I'm
crazy
talking about
stuff.
when I got out of prison.
Oh, and then that was a different.
Now, I do think I heard this. I haven't looked into this situation like completely or anything, but I heard that Jeff was supposed to go on the H3 podcast, and that friend that he's with in this podcast right now that Jeff's talking to, that guy doxed Ethan. Is that right, you guys? He like doxed Ethan and Ethan had to call the cops and there's like a whole police report or something on it. Like this has turned into like a whole big thing to my understanding, because the guy that Jeff is talking to, I don't know what his name is. And or maybe it's another guy that's in this episode, but he didn't like the jokes that Ethan made towards Jeff. So he doxed him, showed up at his house. He was like filming his license plate. I mean, doing all kinds of crazy shit. Yeah, threatening him. His name's Cody. Is it the guy that he's talking to right now? Is that the guy that doxed Ethan or showed up at Ethan's house? Stalked, showed up in Ethan's home. Yeah, it's Cody. Um, I feel badly for Jeff, but yes, Jeff's friend creeped on Ethan. To be fair, Ethan was making some super insensitive jokes about Jeff, but that was unhinged shit. Yeah, I don't know what jokes he made about Jeff. Like I said, I haven't fully looked into the situation, but it seems like things got really out of control. I'm actually surprised that Jeff agreed to go on the H3 podcast, just considering like everything that happened on Frenemies. Um, because when Jeff went on Frenemies, like given the situation with the Hannah situation, all these guys like played a part in this night with this girl. But like at the same time, like I kind of felt bad for Jeff, especially with like Trisha in that episode, because she was like making some real insensitive remarks about like him, like because he was drugged up in that episode. You could tell he was drugged up in that episode because he had just gotten a surgery. I think he just got a surgery. So, I'm just kind of surprised that Jeff even agreed to go on the H3 podcast, considering like everything that went down during that time. But yeah, it seems like everything just got really out of control with this situation. And I can't believe that guy like showed up at Ethan's house over some jokes. I don't know. It's just kind of strange.
Yeah.
Different thing there too.
And then I just feel like that you're just more hurt because you are a good guy and you are a sincere friend.
But that's the thing. I do see the best in people, and I do. It's funny that you're here today because we didn't plan this. I was just going nuts on Instagram, and you called and you're like, "Yo, this shit's funny that you're
Yeah.
fucking going."
I love
going
this
off.
shit. I love this shit.
Pull that mic closer, so you don't have to.
I
Keep doing
love
that.
this shit.
It's a funny coincidence that you are here on the show today because we've been through so much, and you are a terrible person, and so was I. But as a
He even
human, it's
says he's a
okay to
terrible
make
person.
mistakes.
Yeah.
But look what you did. You realized what you did was wrong. You had a lot of time in prison to think about it. And, sometimes people just need to realize that they're making some mistakes and you learn from them and grow. And that's what life's about. Some people don't have that empathy in them. They are too narcissistic to believe they can do any wrong. And that's what I've realized. And that's why I regret sugarcoating this documentary to where I tried to salvage this person's career and image because I thought he was a friend and I thought he had good in him.
This Hollywood shit smoking mirrors.
There's more to why I'm pissed off and why I'm lashing out and why I'm finally speaking up than just him not texting me. I could get over that. I realized over the past few months and years of him not giving a fuck that would probably happen. I'm not surprised. And I'll be dealing with this shit for life. So, I don't expect him to text me every year. I could be 80 years old and go through another eye surgery and have him fucking text me. Yeah,
But it's still just it's so recent with everything that happened. I don't know if I did that to somebody and I accidentally like damaged them like Jeff is, I could not text them or show up at their house and see how they're doing. And I don't know, that's just me personally. Because I just have so many emotions and I could never do that to somebody. I would have to make sure that they were okay, especially if they were going through a surgery like Jeff had, because he went into the surgery with like, I think he said a 30% chance that he may come out blind at the end of the surgery. And it all went okay, which is great. But I mean, at least just check in and make sure he's okay. And just given that everything that David has like went through, you would think he would kind of learn these things to, show more compassion towards people, especially a person that you had a hand in injuring. You know what I mean?
I get that. The real reason I was mad, it's going to come out publicly in a month anyway, but David filmed the documentary and the producer of the documentary, creator of the documentary, director, whatever you want to call it, he called me, FaceTimed me to show me the clip of the interview when David addressed the situation with the crane. And he said that it was my fault. David blamed me for the crane. He insinuated that I was crazy. I always want to push it. And I'm the reason that this happened. When that's complete bullshit. There's 20 people on the beach that are witnesses. I have fucking 6 terabytes of footage. of you asking me, begging me to go out there and do the thing again, and that you would spin it slow. You just want to take me out there because it's more scenic.
Okay, so I guess there's a documentary coming out, and David blamed Jeff. I mean, they're both at fault. I mean, that's the way I see it. It was an accident. I don't think anybody intentionally made anybody do anything, but they're both at fault. You know, David should have taken the precautions to make sure there was medical there and everything else, or somebody operating that crane that knew what the fuck they were doing. Like, he shouldn't have been driving it at all. And Jeff shouldn't have made the decision to get on the crane either. Like, I always just saw it as an accident, but it's the actions that happened after the accident is what I'm kind of looking at, because it just seems like David's just trying to move on and kind of brush it under the rug, just given everything that Jeff is saying right now. And it's very disappointing, considering, like, in his apology video that he said, you know, that he was going to do better and do better with the vlogs, do better, you know, with the people in his life and everything else. And then, you know, we're not even like a year after all of this, and he's acting like this. Oh, I agree. I agree. David is at fault. David's at fault. I think they're both at fault. Like, they both just shouldn't have done it. But I think David has more, he's at more fault in the situation. I think it was an accident. I don't think anybody meant to do anything to anybody. But yes, I do agree that David is at fault in this accident. And that's why I said I think he should have had medical there. I think he should have had somebody driving it that knew what they were doing and everything else. What do you mean I should look into this more? I'm just saying it was an accident. They both made the decision to do it. It was just reckless. But I don't think anybody intentionally did anything. I just don't. I think it was a stupid idea, and I believe David is more at fault here. You guys, like, I'm just telling you what I think of the situation. Accidents happen, shit happens, people do stupid shit. David was stupid for even having this idea. You know?
And it looks better on camera. It's more cinematic. And just to hear him sit there and say that, I was like in shock at first, because I'm looking at it over FaceTime and I just couldn't believe that he would say that. Not only does he not really give a fuck, but imagine you smash somebody's skull in, they take it on the chin, they don't sue you, they don't fucking press charges. I mean, anything. It could have. I would nearly died. I came an inch from death and an inch from going blind. I'll have lifelong brain injuries and save them from fucking everything. You would have got deported. You would have got put in jail for manslaughter. You could have got sued for everything. I took it on the chin, and then to see this, and that just made me completely lose all respect for this guy and lose all hope that he could ever turn around and become a better person. You know, I know he does a lot on video. He gives away cars and shit like that. But, you know, doing stuff on video and doing things in real life are two completely different things. You know what I mean? This fake shit.
I know exactly what you mean. That's why I stay away from it.
Yeah.
I don't condone that shit.
I honestly, I don't even know how much we could get into yet. I will. We'll see how things play out. But I'm just saying, like, imagine a fucking,
Man,
imagine a
David
fucking,
Dobrik.
imagine a fucking friend nearly killing you. You keep your mouth shut for a year. Let everybody make fun of you. Don't say shit. Keep the thing a secret. Now the documentary's over and you don't got to cover your ass anymore. You don't got to worry about what we're going to post because you think the story's already out there. I regret doing this too. But this is me being a loyal friend. I let him pass through the edit of the doc and take out anything that made him look bad. And
They said the new documentary was coming out in a month. He just said that the new documentary was coming out in a month. Is the documentary out where David is blaming him for everything? I watched everything when I watched Jeff's whole documentary. Jeff just mentioned that David is doing a documentary and David blamed him for the whole thing. That's what I haven't seen because it hasn't come out yet. I watched Jeff's whole documentary on the whole situation. I thought he was very, very nice to David in the documentary, and I do believe David is at fault. I think what he did was completely reckless, but they both made the decision to do it too. But David's at fault more than anybody in this situation. That's what I was saying. Casey Neistat is doing a documentary. Yeah, that's what I was referring to. Nobody has seen the documentary. I watched Jeff's documentary. I watched every single episode of that documentary. So, yeah.
And that day I came home from surgery, I was sitting on the couch, laying there with blood coming out of my eye on fucking anesthesia, completely a vegetable. And he came right in here, ran right into the editing bay, and all he cared about was editing to clean up the fucking video to cover up that this happened. You can't cover it up. It's once shit happens, accidents happen, you can't cover it up. But what you can do is learn to do the right thing after. And that little kid shit saying, "Oh, I'm 18, he's a kid, I don't know how to deal with these things." You're 26, you're an adult, and life sometimes gets hard, and you need to learn to deal with it. I know this is a different type of podcast. I'm not trying to lecture people. It's just an emotional thing. You know, I had my face smashed in, and the one thing I asked from him was to not blame me for it. I don't want to look like a clout chasing idiot when you asked me to go out on there. You begged me to come out there. After a couple days in the hospital, I'm still in shock. When I leave the hospital, my face is a fucking balloon. He gets a call from Kourtney Kardashian. He pans the phone over to me. I'm in the passenger seat, and he goes, "Look, he did something stupid." It took a second to realize, like, it's Kourtney Kardashian. I'm not going to be like, "Oh, fucking, what? No, he fucking did it." I didn't say anything. I kept my mouth shut. But I told him after when we were alone, I said, "Look, that call, that's not how this is going to go. I'll take this on the chin. I'll eat this. I'll believe it was an accident, and I'll try my best to forgive. But if you go around saying that this was not your fault, and you try to put it on the other guy, who's me, and say that this was my fault, these life-altering injuries, then there's going to be problems." That's where the switch flips.
He's trying to like make a joke out of your injury.
Because now he said in a documentary that even the director was so shocked that he had to call me. He hadn't shown anybody. And this guy who's editing it and making this, he's not showing David. Supposedly, he won't give him any chances to edit anything. And it's just going to be real. And he was just so shocked that he could, because he knows the whole story. He's been there from day one, and he knows how everything went down. I'm done. I'll just keep it real. I thought, maybe I'll just crack jokes on him for the rest of my life, and eventually I'll learn to forgive. And he'll grow up, but it's just not happening.
You kind of enabled him to manipulate the situation,
Yeah,
because you were being.
I gave him a chance.
You thought you being a good friend, being loyal, you basically helped him covered it up, and then for his own selfish ways, and not to take any kind of accountability, that he basically believed in his mind that you were truly responsible, just to take the guilt off of him.
I know psychopaths can believe their own lies.
Yeah,
Liars,
so-
a good lying piece of shit is
but-
when you really believe your own lies so
Yeah.
much that you start saying it out loud, and you trick yourself into believing your own lies.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm honestly surprised that they stayed friends for as long as they did, just given the circumstances of everything. I'm honestly surprised that Jeff hasn't sued David, because he does. Like I said, you guys, David's at fault in this situation more than anybody. Like, he should have never have had the idea to go out there. He did not have proper medical out there or anything like that at all. I would have never have got on the fucking crane. No fucking way. Because that's just so dangerous. It's just so dangerous. And something bad happened. And he's not being there for his friend that he permanently injured. So, and I'm sure if Jeff sued him, he would probably win, because David didn't have the licensing or anything for this whole thing. No medical, no nothing. And he was the one, I doubt he had proper training on it too.
sociopaths, but
He basically chose his own career over your friendship. Well, there was no friendship.
of course,
Friends
but-
wouldn't do this. Friends wouldn't do
there's
this.
not a day that goes by that I don't think about why he took me out there and spun that so fast. Because we never agreed that we were supposed to go that fast. It
I
was supposed
think
to
he
be the
has some
same as
type of
Corinna.
animosity
You were supposed
towards
to-
you.
This is where
And that's it too. Why did he go that fast? Because was it Corinna that was on the excavator before Jeff was? It's been a while since I watched that documentary. But one of the girls that are in the vlog squad, she was on the excavator first, and David was going super super slow with her. And you could tell she was really upset too, and because I think he started to go a little bit faster with her, and she told him to stop. But why did he go so fast with Jeff? Like, why did he do that? And then it just stopped. He just stopped, and then that's when Jeff hit the pole. I believe it is victim blaming because you have to consider all the context why Jeff went on the excavator. I understand that too. I don't know the conversations they had. And if David pressured him into doing it, then yeah, I totally understand that. But I understand that it was an accident too. You know what I mean? I get it. It was an accident too. I don't think he maliciously did this to him. But I think his actions are pretty bad in this situation. The machine auto stopped. It's designed to stop itself after a certain speed. Oh, is that why it stopped so fast? It was a safety feature that stopped it from swinging. David didn't stop it. Oh, so he like put it in like full speed and it stopped. Yeah, it's not good. That just shows he didn't know what he was doing with the excavator.
Where everything went wrong. And this is the one fucked up thing where I kind of see the line of an accident and intentional fucking. I mean, it's blurred, but he asked me to come out there 3, 4, 5, 6 times, asked me to go out there one more time just because it was more scenic, and we were supposed to go slow. The water was 1 foot deep. If I would have flown off that thing, it's a lose-lose. I die that way because I'm going 60 miles per hour. I would have flown fucking 100 yards and died in the 1 foot water that way. Or I brace for impact and just pray. I had no choice once I started swinging.
Kind of think it was intentional because
So these thoughts cross my mind. But if he's around, I don't want to talk about it all day, every day. But if he's just around and tries to be a good friend, then I can get past that. But everybody still says to this day, you made a decision to get on that rope, which I understand. I did make a decision, and I'll have to live with that. It was a stupid one. I was never the one to fucking do the stupid stunts. But in this situation, I was on a high from skydiving. He got me at that moment. An accident did happen, and that's fine because accidents do happen in life. We both fucked up many times. We've both done terrible shit, but we've came a long way. Perfect example, Logan Paul was a huge influencer, a huge star. Fucked up, took a long time off, learned from his mistakes, and now he's a respectable guy. You know, he's come a long way. David nearly killed me, came back to posting immediately while I had my face smashed in, lost all my jobs, couldn't work for a year, and posted like nothing never happened, doing TikToks, doing house tours, and comes right back like this is everybody else is crazy on the internet. I'm not. I'm the sane one. Why is everybody mad at me for?
I don't know. I think anybody would like swinging somebody from a crane would have been a little bit more delicate with an actual human. That machine is heavy equipment. Like they
Exactly. I agree with him with that. Like he should have been more delicate with the situation. I think David is just I don't know. I don't know. I think David lives in his own little world and everything's about content for him. And I think he made a stupid decision to make it go as fast as it could. And he almost killed his friend. So I don't know. If Jeff sues him, he'll definitely win because David's at fault with most of the situation. And I'm honestly surprised they didn't have a falling out sooner because it would be hard for me to stay friends with somebody that I knew had my life in their hands and they permanently damaged me in some way, you know?
use it for demolition. It's just insane.
We even got into it afterwards because you told me I was an idiot for getting on it.
Yeah, I was kind of upset I should have never said that, but I was just more like,
No, it's cool.
I was more like hurt, like, damn, why the fuck would you do that? But it was like, I get it, like, it was just
Heat of the
shit being done, heat of the moment, like, peer pressure, content, and it's just like shit was just happening. Like, I probably would have like done something. I done stupid shit too, like,
Yeah,
without
you just caught me at an emotional time,
yeah.
and then that's why our
Like,
friendship kind of.
I was just more mad. I was just more mad that that happened to you.
I wish other people that did it had feelings towards it.
I don't know. I really don't. I'm not like an influencer, and like I kind of like there's few influencers that I watch and follow. Like I kind of fucking don't really like the social media shit because I feel like it's all fake bullshit. Like I get it, it's the world that we live in nowadays, but people show you and who they are by editing what they want to show you. So it's never real. They could just cut, they could snip. It's like plastic surgery. Everybody got fucking plastic surgery in Hollywood and then they try to like downplay somebody that's can't afford nice teeth or like
I had to eat Botox jokes, bad, botched up plastic surgery jokes for years, and I'm fine with that. I could take jokes, but I'm just saying, I'm fucking let down. It just sucks because there's a lot of other friends involved that I really love. And, I got out of a breakup and jumped right into this friend group that I loved so much. It was just such perfect timing because I was in such a bad spot, such a low point in my life. And I found all these guys. And it sucks that I might lose some of them. Hopefully, some of them are smart enough to realize that just realize right and wrong because I feel like it's obvious here. There's been more stuff that happened. I don't know if we'll leave this in or not, but a fucking
Sorry, my dog's barking in the other room. If you hear you guys, I'm sorry. What was I gonna say? My dog's distracting me because she's barking. My daughter has my dog, my little dog, and she's barking at her. Anyways, sorry. Just completely lost my train of thought of what I was gonna say because my dog distracted me. She's so funny. Oh, what was I gonna say? Damn it! Now I lost my train of thought. Thank you, Bijou. She's a little spitfire. um, damn it! I really lost my train of thought on this whole situation. What I was gonna say. Oh. I'm really disappointed in how David decided to handle this. Like, when that documentary came out and David was paying for his medical bill, like he said David was paying for his medical bills, and like the footage that was shown in Jeff's documentary, it really looked like David like knew he fucked up and he felt terrible for it and everything else. But given what we know now, it's just like, is this guy ever going to learn? Because there's been some really bad stuff that keeps happening in David's vlogs. And he just continues and he's continuing to kind of like ignore these friends that come to the realization, like, you know, David's not a good friend to me. And then he just kind of ignores it and just goes on with his life and just hopes it goes away. You know, I don't know. I feel bad. I do feel bad for Jeff. I feel really bad for Jeff. Like when I watched that whole documentary, like I couldn't even imagine almost losing my eye. He literally almost died. Literally almost died on that thing. And I don't know. The whole thing is just really bad. Really bad. And the thing is David didn't need that for his vlogs. Like he didn't need something that extravagant for his vlogs. He has the following and everything else and people watch it because they love the Vlog Squad videos. He didn't need something that extravagant like a crane in the middle of shallow water and people swinging from it. I don't know. I think stuff like that is just completely dangerous. Like I never got into the Jackass. You remember when Jackass was a thing and they did all these stupid stunts all the time? Like I never got into that show because I was just like, this stuff is so stupid and it's so dangerous and somebody's going to get really hurt from it. And those shows have like medical staff and everything else on them when they do these sort of things. I don't know. The whole situation is just bad. It's just bad.
Casey Neistat just like my Instagram post.
That's big. That's
I
big.
love that guy. That guy made me do triathlons. That guy is actually a full Ironman.
Okay. He also made a documentary and showed me a clip recently that really pissed me off. But he did it because he respects me and he's my boy. So he showed me just to prepare me for what's coming and to prepare David for what's coming.
Shout out to Casey Neistat. I love that guy.
So yeah, my beef with David, the fact that he is a scumbag friend, a fake friend. Now that the documentary's over, doesn't give a fuck, doesn't text me, doesn't check in. At this last surgery, there was literally, the doctor said, we have to move your eye 3 millimeters. We're gonna do 2.5, so we have a half a millimeter of slack. That's fucking this much to go blind, and I couldn't get a text. That's one reason. The other reason, him saying now, flipping the script, saying that, oh, it was fucking Jeff's idea. He's crazy. Complete bullshit. That's number 2. Number 3, they were supposed to.
And if he's saying it was Jeff's idea, then that's the other thing. Like, you know, David gathered all those people. He rented the crane. He was operating the crane. How is that all Jeff's idea? I don't understand that because he's the one that gathered all the people there. Jeff wasn't the only one that got on the crane either. And the other thing that I found really odd about Jeff's documentary is David had like the idea for all of them to go skydiving. Remember when they were all going skydiving and David didn't skydive with them? Like he wanted all of them to skydive because I think it was for like a vlog and they went through the whole skydiving process. But David never did the skydiving with them. I think he skydived after the fact, after Jeff got injured and everything. But, you know, you're making all these people do all these dangerous things for your channel, but you're not doing it with them. Why is that? And why are you operating the crane? Why don't you get on the crane? Like it's his channel. Why didn't he get on the crane? That would have been what viewers would wanted to see, would be David on the crane rather than Jeff or Corinna.
To cover the hospital bills. They slacked because whatever the fuck they're doing, making stupid vlogs, they didn't pay attention to something that's, I would think it's pretty important here because the bills go to my name and our agreement was just cover the hospital bills. I don't care about anything else. I'm not coming after him for money I lost from not being able to work or anything like that. But I got a bill that wasn't paid that I didn't know about because I'm not dealing with it. I have Ivan, my assistant, deal with it, and he goes with David's team, and they didn't pay a fucking bill. I got an infraction on my credit now. I go to get a house, and I can't get a loan because now I have another. So it's just like things are piling up over and over again, and just try a little bit. For those who think I'm trolling or I'm fucking crazy on Instagram, honestly, I could give a fuck because it's the best I've felt in a while. Getting all this shit off my chest, you know, it feels good to cut bad people out of your life, and it took a while to see it. I don't blame anybody out there if you're dealing with a scumbag. I felt like this,
you know, and like I deal with this with friends all the time. Like I'm a person that I let people just walk all over me. Like people can convince me to do things or guilt trip me. Like I'm the type of person that I will let people walk all over me. And so I understand like in that aspect why Jeff may have stayed friends for as long as he did with David after this whole situation, because he probably felt bad, or you know, and like the fact that David agreed to pay for his medical bills, and it looks like he did pay for some of them, but now he's not paying for them. Like the whole situation is just, I don't know. It's just bad. It's just really bad. And it's sad because like he's never going to be the same. He's got to go through all these eye surgeries and everything else now, and I'm sure it has really greatly affected his life.
this guy was a fucking scumbag at times, but people come around, people change, and I for the longest time gave him the benefit of the doubt that he would come along and change.
All this situation there was just give you clarity. You know, it usually takes things like this.
It's ironic that I fucking had an eye injury, but now I see clearer than ever.
Yeah, it gave you a better fifth eye, third eye. It gave you it opened up what you weren't seeing. Your judgment was clouded. you know, the fame, the shit, the going out, the partying, the making money together, your judgment gets clouded after a while, and then you forget what's real and what's not. And friend is such a strong word to throw around. I never tell people, like, somebody told me like, oh, we're friends, and I had to correct them. I'm like, no, we're not friends. We're acquaintances. Friends is somebody like I could really, really trust.
Yeah.
I realized my friends when I went to jail,
Yeah.
and when I was in the hospital, before I went to jail, Jeff showed up in the hospital room when I was on my deathbed for 21 days with tubes coming out my chest.
I sent you money for contraband and commissary.
Yeah, for cell phones and stuff. But
that got you more time added on.
But being in the hospital was worse than being in prison, because in the hospital I actually was dying and I felt helpless and I was on meds, and the doctor was telling me, whatever you're doing, you're gonna die at 27 years old. And I just remember you being in the hospital room, like, you know, and then you really see who stops their life to come fucking out of their way to come visit you, you know.
Well, we used to share a bed together.
I wonder what this guy did that he went to prison for. Sound like he was in prison for a while.
When
Yeah.
we moved out here, we literally slept in the same bed like brothers. We were in our trap house, and
Yeah.
I would wake up to your disgusting fucking weed smelling breath because you smoke so much weed at night, and it would just be like you just had such bad health and like you wouldn't take care of yourself back then. And so you're a
No.
complete opposite now. You look great. You're
Great,
healthy.
incredible,
You're
good.
sober. It helps a lot of people. His Instagram's very big on mental health and advice, and he shares a lot of those memes, like those David Goggins and Gary Vee type of things. You
Yeah.
know. And sometimes I skip through them because I don't give a fuck to read them.
Yeah.
But they might be helping somebody. So keep
Look,
at it.
If I could help.
It was armed robbery. He went to jail for armed robbery. Madando says that. Whoops. Yikes. That's scary. That's even scarier if he showed up at Ethan's house. That is scary.
One person, I'm happy.
Opportunities, the best ones in life, will sneak in through the back door. They come in disguised as a bad opportunity, but it's actually the best opportunity in your life. And if anything from this situation, it's made me establish my own team, a crew of people that I love, I get along with. We all fucking support each other. We just don't have to rely on anybody else. My video.
Is that guy in a shower? The other guy that they just showed, he's like in a shower. That's funny.
Are about haircuts and mental health and doing the right thing. And that's it. And that's the message we want to spread. And sorry, this podcast was broken up into 2 parts. I just didn't feel right doing it the way I was earlier. I looked back at the footage and I was all loopy. I was angry at that time. And I'm still, now more, I'm just kind of relieved of the whole situation. I'm excited for the future, and I'm ready for war, baby. I'm having fun. I'm in my fucking Kanye phase. I'm about to start posting these things in all caps. You know what I'm saying? My fucking memes on David.
I live for this shit. I don't get paid from the internet. Bring it on. Ban my account. Disable me today. I'll be back tomorrow with a fake account. I'll talk shit.
Did you watch the Kanye doc?
Oh no.
No, I didn't.
If anybody out there is going through an accident or recovering or something that is similar to this situation, I suggest you listen to the song Through the Wire. It's one of Kanye's first songs to pop him off as an artist. Probably one of his first big popular songs. And it was right after his near fatal car accident. And he had his jaw wired shut, but he still rapped on the song. And one of the lines was, boost for breakfast and sure for dessert. Somebody order pancakes. I just sipped the scissor. And that I relate to so much because right after the accident, we all stayed in the Airbnb together. You know, my jaw had a bunch of plates in it. I couldn't chew. I had to live off insurance for the month. And David made pancakes and bacon, and I hadn't eaten in 4 days. And I'm just like, motherfucker, this is so relatable, but also there's a lot more to take away from the song, not just get pissed off at your friend from it.
He looks really
yeah.
disappointed.
Kanye doc's great. It's incredible to see him meet Pharrell for the first time. And then he walks up to Jay-Z, and it's an awkward moment where he's like almost shy to like say what's up to Jay-Z. And then he kind of just like walks off, but he was already like signed to
think that might be
Rockefeller. It's just
it.
the way Jay-Z kind of was just like, all right, yeah, like cool, like whatever. It's just, it's crazy. I love how it's shot. I love how it's just
It feels
footage that
scripted watching it. It's crazy.
yeah, they did a great job. They did a great
Cootie,
job
shout out
on
Cootie.
there's no narrate. Oh, well, there's a narrator, but there's no sit down
I'm gonna
interviews.
skip
It's
ahead
kind of
a
like
little bit.
and just the people who helped them put it together. They wanted to cut a lot of jokes from my set, and
Oh, this is the
it
other part I wanted to watch.
guy, and he put this roast together, and just the people who helped him put it together. They wanted to cut a lot of jokes from my set, and it just pissed me off because I did the thing because I wanted to do it. One, I wrote my own jokes. I worked hard on it. I was proud of it, and I said nothing that I wouldn't say in a podcast or a YouTube video, and they had
I wonder who cut his jokes because, like, he seems to still be friends with Jason Nash, and Jason, I believe that roast is going on Jason's channel because the trailer is on Jason's channel. So I wonder who cut Jeff's jokes because he doesn't seem mad at Jason Nash. So I wonder who made the decision to cut his jokes. I mean, I wonder what he said in the jokes, but I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. I almost wonder, just given everything we know about David, I almost wonder if like he's trying to alienate Jeff from the group in some way and he wanted this to happen because he didn't want to have to be tied to Jeff anymore. I don't know. The whole thing is what can just be really shady, you guys. Like it's just I don't know how people are friends with some YouTubers are just so that's why I don't talk to very many other I have a few that I talk to, but outside of that, like I've talked to some other YouTubers and like they'll turn on you in just a sec, like at a flash. Um, so I always know how this is going to go when people are friends with other YouTubers, especially like if you're on a bigger platform. It would be just so hard to trust people, because like some people just want it's just all like a facade. It's just all for the audience and everything else. And behind the scenes, they can just be, terrible friends and terrible people.
50% of my jokes, these have to go. These are whatever, just too edgy. And I just said, cut my whole set. I don't want to be a part of it. I also don't want to be associated with it because that was before all this happened with David, and some of my jokes were on David. And I don't even want to fucking deal with this shit
So
anymore.
you got
I'm done with it.
censored by like
Yeah, it's just they try to censor my comedy, and I'm just against that. That's something else.
Oh, did you hear what he just said? Hold on. Let me rewind it a little bit. Dang, there's like a button to rewind on laptop, but I can't remember.
Jokes were on David, and I don't even want to fucking
Hang on, let me
deal
go
with this.
back a little bit. He just said jokes. Some of his jokes were roasting on
I
David.
wrote my own jokes. I worked hard on it. I was proud of it, and I said nothing that I wouldn't say in a podcast or a YouTube video. And they had 50% of my jokes. These have to go. These are whatever, just too edgy. And I just said, cut my whole set. I don't want to be a part of it. I also don't want to be associated with it because that was before all this happened with David, and some of my jokes were on David. And I don't even want to fucking deal with.
Okay, that makes sense now. The left arrow is rewind. Thank you guys. That makes sense. So that kind of answers my question. Who cut his jokes? If some of his jokes were on David, David's probably the one that cut the jokes. I can almost guarantee like those roasts, even if it's on Jason Nash's channel, I almost guarantee that David is probably the one that is making the decisions and everything else about it. So it makes sense why his jokes were cut if some of them were, dogging on David. So
with this shit
so you
anymore.
got
I'm done with it.
censored by like
Yeah, it's just they try to censor my comedy, and I'm just against that. That's something I feel very strongly about. I don't want my project to be a shit thing. Maybe I'll find a way to fucking get the footage from Jason. I'm sure he doesn't even care about it. I asked him today if he could cut my set, and he was like, "Look, Jeff, I just want to make sure you're good. Like whatever it is to make you happy and good. I don't care about the roast at all." And that was nice. He's a real dude. Okay. All right. Love all you guys. There we go. Let's go out.
All right, I think that's about it. I think that's all pretty much everything that he said. I don't know. The situation is just really, really unfortunate. And it's really, really, when people make mistakes and they have an opportunity. Like, I feel David had a brand new opportunity because I feel like when he came back to his channel, like everything went back to normal for him. And he made that apology video. He said he was going to do better, especially like with his friend groups and everything else. And then he turns around and does something like this, especially over something that he is responsible for and not checking in on his friend or anything else. I understand why Jeff is so upset. Like, I would be upset too. Like, it would really hurt my feelings if somebody did something to me and then they just didn't care whether or not I came out of surgery blind or just okay. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm gonna read some of your comments. See what you guys are saying. David censors anything that's critical to him. Yeah. Friend arrested for armed robbery. Jeff goes opportunities coming through the back door. That's so funny to me. I just imagine his friend busting through the back door. Yeah, armed robbery. That's not good at all. He's not funny. Good, his jokes got cut. The only thing I've ever watched on Jeff is like that documentary. So I don't really know much about him. I know he does that like that barbershop series on his channel, but I never really heard about him before all the stuff went down with David. Most YouTubers are fake as fuck. Most want to associate with people who don't meet certain number of criteria. Yeah. Praying for Peter Mon. Yeah, I heard what happened to Peter Mon. I left a comment on his channel after everything happened. It sounds like he was in really bad condition and it was a really bad car accident. But I hear he's going to be okay, and that's great. And I hope he makes a full recovery. It's just terrible because there was like 4 cars involved or something like that, and two of the 4 the people were in critical condition. I think one was definitely Peter, and then somebody passed away too. So it's just terrible. But I hope he's going to be okay, and I hope he's going to make a full recovery. Some jokes were cut because editing to fit within certain hours, but Jeff decided to take it all off and ruined other people's effort and video. Oh. Is it on Jason's channel, that roast? I wonder if it's on Jason's channel. I saw there was a like a teaser, but there's no. No, there's the
All right, guys,
teaser
what's up? We're here at the
still up.
roast. Just a little backstage behind the scenes video. Very nervous. Last year was just friends. This year is like wide groups of YouTubers and TikTokers. There's all kinds of.
I think he's gonna do a good job. I want to be mean, but at the same time, like, this is really cool when he puts his stuff together. Yeah, no, I think he's gonna kill it. And like, people have to keep in mind, even if Jason's jokes aren't funny, you have to realize that he wrote 75% of the rest of them. So if somebody else is super funny, just know that it's Jason being funny. So there's credit.
The best roast I've ever been to. Jason, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, this is just like a teaser. It's not on his channel yet. Let's see here. Holy crap, guys. I love David Dobrik. Pickle says. That's fine. I'm real neutral when it comes to like the vlog squad. and everything else. I don't watch their content. I think the vlogs are just I mean, if I'm being honest, like I've tried to watch some of those vlogs, especially when I was like researching the whole like Trisha Paytas series, and I think they're kind of boring. I just don't understand what the hype is about them. To be completely honest, don't come for me, but I just don't really understand what the hype is about about him because I just think they're kind of boring. But I don't know. And they're really like really short. They're only like 4 minutes long too. But anyways, um let's see here. Read some more comments. I loved Jackass growing up, but David is a result of thinking Jackass movies could be a reality with your friend group. Yeah. Yeah. It was really, really a bad decision to do that whole thing. I mean, I don't really understand why why he thought it was a good idea to rent a crane and like swing people from a rope, just like a single rope. Like that's just like a disaster waiting to happen. That's just not a good idea at all. At all. Um Jeff has a successful comedy show. He's pretty fun. You cannot like the guy and recognize he's funny. I think Jeff has pretty like I mean, he has a pretty likable personality. I mean, when I was watching, I thought he did a really, really good job with like his documentary. I thought it was really, really interesting. Um, but like I said, I don't know much about Jeff outside of like the whole thing going on with David and everything else. He reminds me of somebody, and I cannot put my finger on it who Jeff what reminds me of, because the first time I saw him, I'm like, he looks like somebody that I know, but I can't put my finger on who he reminds me of. I still can't till this day, and it drives me absolutely insane. Some jokes were cut because to fit the video, but Jeff's ego decided to take it all off by using David as an excuse. Interesting. Hey, Susan, I have not seen you forever. I hope you're doing good. Diane says David didn't cut the jokes. The sponsor cut the jokes from everyone. Where did you hear that at? Wait, so the jokes being cut is what pushed Jeff to the edge to be against David? I don't know. That's kind of what I don't know. I mean, I would think like between his jokes getting cut and David not reaching out to him for the surgery, I don't know. I really don't. Like, it just seemed like it all happened at the same time. Sure, it was David and Natalie. Jason had to show them to David beforehand. I mean, if he's kind of like putting the whole thing together, I could understand that. I see that happening. And it seems like everything with Jason, there's David's involved with it. A lot of the stuff. The vlog squad is totally boring. Just not your taste, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I really tried to watch some of them, and they were just boring to me. I don't understand why they get so many views. I mean, I guess I get people like vlog style videos and that sort of thing. I don't know. I just thought they were boring. I just didn't really jive with them when I tried to watch them. And like all they do is like laugh uncontrollably like about everything, and like some of the stuff they're like laughing uncontrollably about, it's like not even funny. I don't know. I just never I just don't get why the vlogs are so popular, because they get like, I mean, they get like millions and millions of views. Hold on. Let me look it up. Because like some of his videos, like when I first came across, like, guys, I'm telling you, like, you know, before I started this channel, I did not really watch YouTube at all. Like, I never even heard of David Dobrik before the whole thing with like frenemies and everything else. Like, I had never even heard of Trisha Paytas until like her Tati Dema's Help video. But let's see here. I'm gonna pull up his videos. Let's see how many views David's getting these days. Hold on. Because these videos get like insane. Like, they're literally insane, the views that they get. And even after everything, they're still, whoops, that's not right. They're still like, he's still getting tons of views on it. 5.4 million views 2 weeks ago, 6.4 million views. Before he got canceled, like, they were all like 25 million views, 15 million views, 23 million views, 29 million views. I mean, I guess his views have gone down since he got canceled. Because if you compare, like, this was only 8 months ago to this one, that's 29 million views versus 11. And I doubt, like, once that hits the 1 year marker, that it's going to get to that amount of views. So I guess his views have gone down. I do know, like, last time I like looked at David's channel, because David Dobrik and James Charles, they lost monetization like probably within a month of each other. And I have YouTube Premium, so I never see commercials, but like, I'll go on my personal account, because that I can still watch commercials on YouTube. And both of them, last time I checked, this was probably about 4 weeks ago that I checked last time. Both of them are still demonetized. They don't have any ads on their videos. Maybe they're monetized now, but I thought that was interesting, because usually when YouTube demonetizes a channel, like, temporarily, they're only demonetized for like 90 days. But like James Charles, he's uploading videos and he still doesn't have ads on his videos. Let me check that out right now. Let me go on to my other account and see if they have ads on them, because I just thought that was interesting that they're both still demonetized, and they're both uploading videos. So it's kind of like, how are they making money if they're demonetized? All right, I'm going to James Charles right now, because I'm just curious. Yeah, James still doesn't have ads. So how are they making money? Yeah, James is still demonetized. Let me go to David's channel. You can probably hear it in the background. I don't want to put it up on I don't want to, I'm doing my phone, because it's my personal account. Yeah, David's still demonetized. He has no ads. None. So how are they making money? Why are they still sponsors? But there's no way James Charles is getting sponsors. And maybe David does, but I don't know. People are saying that David has a discovery. Read the chat and find out. Everybody's saying sponsors. But I know, like, there's no way James Charles is getting any sponsors. Like, he lost all of his sponsors. And hold on, let me go to one of his videos and see if it's a sponsored video. Like, I just don't really understand the point of uploading videos if you're not making any AdSense on them. Yeah, like the video that I'm on right now, it doesn't say anything about it being sponsored. Yeah, I'm looking at the description. I don't know. It's just strange because like they still don't. I almost wonder if they're permanently demonetized now. James was sponsored by Shine. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really keep up. I don't keep up with James Charles, but like when I go look at his stuff, there's just nothing on there. Like the few videos that I kind of looked at, like this video that I'm looking at, it says full face of makeup by Fashion Nova. So I guess it could be sponsored by Fashion Nova, but it doesn't say it like in the description. I don't know. We said merch like 50 times. But still, what's the point in uploading YouTube videos? I mean, I get they're making money on other things, but what's the point when you're not making AdSense? You know, that's where the bank is, that AdSense, you know? But the videos are advertisement. I get that. I get that. It's just they're not making the money that they used to. It's just interesting that they don't have ads on it. Yeah, they're advertising themselves. But like James Charles still has like a full team and everything of people. I don't know. It's just odd. Odd. To keep themselves relevant. Yeah, that's true. That's true. David has a show called Discovering David on the Discovery Channel. That's interesting. They use YouTube to promote bigger money on their projects. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's true. I get that. James probably has his sponsors on Instagram too. Yeah. Yeah, it's just interesting. I don't know. I would have thought they would have had monetization back by now. Like especially James Charles, because you remember when James Charles was like YouTube's little golden boy. Um, it's just interesting because it's been like a while since they both lost it. But both of their channels just have no ads to them. I don't know. It's just interesting. Just an interesting thing. Because it's for fun. Yeah, I mean, I get that. But when you're that big of a YouTuber, you know, like you're making a lot of money off of like monetization and stuff like that. I don't know. The whole thing's just interesting. I was just asking. Um, look at their social blade. Yeah, but I think they can still like I don't think Social Blade is really accurate at all. Um, even if they're not monetized. Let me look it up. I'll look it up and see what Social Blade says. Yeah, see, like Social Blade is still saying that like they're still making money. I don't know. I don't know. He hasn't made money on YouTube since the apocalypse, and he uses copyrighted music. Which one, David? That's the other thing that I noticed about David's videos that I thought was weird is the vlogs that I have watched, there is copyright music in it and there's no copyright. Like usually when you get copyrighted by YouTube, they're in the description box. It shows like what is copyrighted. And none of his videos with the copyrighted music have those little descriptions. And I thought that was weird. I'm like, how does he get away with that? How does he get away with using copyrighted music, but it's not like in the description box? I don't know. I thought that was interesting. Is Daniel here? Hey, Daniel. Hope you're doing good. Glad to have you here. Let's see here. Because they'll be forgotten. They're too much into themselves. True. True. You would think with like, I mean, like David has a pretty big following on TikTok. He could just make TikToks and be fine. I don't know. Just interesting. Interesting. Yeah, James lost his partnership with Morphe for sure. I don't know why anybody would want to be associated with James Charles, just given the allegations that were against him. Like, I don't know why anybody would want to be like associated with him at all. Because those are the stuff against James Charles is like disgusting. It's pretty bad. David said he hasn't made money on YouTube in years. Yeah, and he took like a really big like break from YouTube. Because when all that stuff was going down on Frenemies, like the videos on his channel, they were like from like almost a year ago. James probably lost his sponsors on Instagram too. Yeah, I really don't think James has. I mean, he might have a sponsor here and there, but there's just I just don't think he's making the money like he did before. I don't understand why brands would want to be associated with him. Hi, Diana. How are you doing? Hope you're doing good. They can use their views to sell themselves. Yeah. That's true. That's true. I'm surprised David has a show on the Discovery Channel, considering everything that came out against him and considering how big that story was. I don't know. I'm just kind of shocked because he lost like all of his sponsors during his cancellation. David runs his own perfume ad on his friends' channels. Really? That's weird. His friends really do whatever, don't they? James still has product. Yeah, he still sells his merch, the sisters apparel. And I mean, I guess the sales on that can be pretty big, but he had a recent Chipotle sponsor. I don't know. Just interesting. Just interesting. It's just really interesting that they're both not monetized anymore, still to this day, and they still haven't got it back. So I almost wonder, I don't know. It's just weird. Hey, Priya, how are you? Happy birthday, Diana. Everybody's saying happy birthday to Diana. So happy birthday to Diana. Hope you're having a good birthday. John Stamos produces the Discovery Show. Oh, and they're like friends with John Stamos. I saw a video on when I was researching damn it. the third episode of the series. I was trying to grab clips of Jason and I clicked on a video that had John Stamos in it and I watched a little bit of it. So they're like friends with John Stamos because that makes sense. It makes sense. I just managed to finish the last video on Trisha and now this came. I love you. Thank you. I love you too. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm glad you liked the video. Hello, please explain last time I was caught up. David and Jeff were completely okay with each other. What happened? They just had like a falling out. Well, Jeff had a surgery. David didn't text him. I think it was just a buildup of a bunch of shit. And Jeff just completely like dropped him. Which I like I said before, I'm shocked it took this long for them to not be friends anymore. But, you know. I got no notifications for this today. YouTube is just such a piece of shit sometimes with notifications. I apologize. Yeah, everybody says that all the time. They don't get notifications. It's annoying that that YouTube can't get it together with the notifications. Yeah, there's some brands that only care about money and profit. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. They just don't care. They care more about yeah, getting their brand out there. Sarah says at least Johnny Knoxville is surrounded by medical staff, trained stunt people, has insurance, everything. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like on Jackass, those shows have to have medical staff and they have to take all the precautions in case something really bad does happen. And you would just think, being as big as you are, being as big as David Dobrik, he would have done the same thing. I don't know. It was just a stupid thing, like really, really stupid. And like earlier, you guys, like, I mean, I know a lot of people are saying I have a bad take on the situation, but I didn't mean anything by it. I do think that David is at fault for pretty much the whole situation. But Jeff also made a decision to get on the crane. That's all I was saying. That's all I was saying with it. But the whole situation is fucked up. The whole thing's fucked up. And he didn't do what he should have done in the situation. It just shouldn't have happened. It's just a stupid thing. I don't even really understand why he felt he needed to do that. You did such a good job on Trisha. Thank you. I appreciate that. Jeff is a grown-ass man and an enabler, so I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, it's like, because they're both adults, that's what I meant by it. Like, he did make the decision to get on the crane, but David's ultimately the one that's responsible for the whole situation because he put it all together. But I mean, it's like a decision that was made that it shouldn't have been made, and now it's like this. But you know. Yeah, and I get that, and he said that he was gonna go slow with it. I understand that too. But yeah, he went way too fast with it. And I did say that, and I do agree with that. Like, I agree with all that. I agree with all that. I'm not saying I don't. I'm not saying I don't. And I feel bad for Jeff. Like, that's a terrible thing to go through. That's like really bad trauma. Like really, really bad. Like almost dying. I couldn't even imagine. Let's see. Oh, there's one more thing I should play for you guys before we leave. Because yesterday on the stream, somebody told me that Ethan mentioned the teacher in the lawsuit against Ryan Kavanaugh. And I found it today on Emily Baker's channel. And I wanted just to kind of play that clip because I just thought it was interesting that that was mentioned in that lawsuit. So I'm going to switch to that real quick and I'm just going to play it for you guys real quick. Because it's just really interesting that it's in the lawsuit and that was one of the points that Ethan brought up. And I want to play it for you guys. Let me go to her channel. And then I am going to jump off here. My daughter wants to watch a movie. Let me find the video. I was watching it earlier. I know the timestamp. Yeah, it's this one. This one. All right. Let's go here. Whoops. There. All right. So this is Ethan's so I guess Ryan Kavanaugh, I have not been keeping up with this lawsuit, but I guess Ryan Kavanaugh brought up the situation with Trisha Paytas because Ethan did the podcast with her and everything. And this is Ethan's response to Ryan Kavanaugh bringing up Trisha Paytas. And I thought this was really interesting. So I'm just going to play it for you guys real quick. It's real quick. I'm just going to have Emily read it.
On the internet has received a tremendous amount of criticism on the internet for her insensitive behavior and statements.
Wait, let me go back.
Tremendous amount of criticism. It's relevant.
Oh, I love that I know how to
Believe the
rewind.
dispute is relevant. I would like to clarify the record should the court believe it's relevant.
Let me go back a little bit more. Okay.
You remember.
Here we are.
In paragraph 53 of the complaint, Kavanaugh refers to my public dispute with Trisha Paytas in so many lawsuits. While I do not believe the dispute is relevant, I would like to clarify the record should the court believe it's relevant. Paytas is an extremely controversial figure on the internet and has received a tremendous amount of criticism on the internet for her insensitive behavior and statements. For a period of time, Paytas was my co-host for a podcast series entitled Frenemies. Doesn't Frenemies feel like it was 700 years ago and we all lived in a different world? It feels like the world was so different when Frenemies existed. It's like it's a different timeline at this point. During some Frenemies episodes, Paytas would lash out at me, my wife, and the crew of the podcast. When our friendship fell apart, Paytas made countless videos and social media posts that continued with these attacks. When I sought to clarify the record, Paytas released even more videos and social media posts claiming she was the victim of online harassment. Given Paytas's attacks, I became critical of her and discussed, inter alia, 1, her demonstrably false allegations of SA against her, now deceased high school teacher. 2, her statement that she bribed a rabbi to convert her to Judaism. 3, claiming to be a Wiccan a few weeks after claiming to have converted to Judaism. 4, how she marginalized the LGBTQ community despite claiming to be non-binary. Why is my nose stuffy all of a sudden? 5, how she minimized those with mental illness despite self-diagnosing herself with a mental illness, with one mental illness, multiple. I think we can say with mental illnesses.
Yeah,
6,
like
how she claimed I was not a quote real Jew and degraded me for suffering from Tourette syndrome. And 7, how she fetishizes. I'm never going to be able to say fetishizes. How she fetishizes. Emily trying to say fetishizes multiple times. How she that. Various minority groups. A true and correct copy of the June 9th podcast episode entitled Regarding Trisha Quitting Frenemies is available at the link and on the hard drive to the court. The court is going to...
So I just thought that was really interesting that he did mention the whole thing with Mr. R in the lawsuit. I don't know. It's really nice that, and you know, the thing is like Ethan gave her a chance to clarify the whole situation and she never did. She never really did. And she, like, you know, she did that whole addressing everything video. There was no clarification on nothing. The whole thing with the mysterious friend from her high school and everything else, and that just came at the right time, and she just really never clarified anything in that video. So it's really nice that Ethan is acknowledging that, and he has acknowledged it multiple times on their podcast. Actually, when he did the whole thing with like the Steamies, which was really cool that he decided to nominate me in that category, because like I was up against some pretty established creators, so it was really, really nice that he recognized my work and put me in the category of the best drama channel of the year. It was just nice to be nominated, but he kind of talked about it in that episode, and then there was an episode that he ended up like erasing a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I don't even think it was up for 24 hours, but he kind of just went all in on Trisha, and he did mention the teacher in that podcast episode too, but he ended up erasing most of it because something had happened within that 24 hours that really nobody knows about, and he said that he has to stop talking about her. But anyways, I just wanted to play that somebody mentioned it in the live yesterday, and I was really, really curious as to what they were talking about. And I looked into it and I found this on Emily's channel, and it's just pretty cool, you know. Thank you so much, Susan, for the super sticker. I really, really, really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Yeah, it was the mask off episode. Yeah, that he said justice for Mr. R, and it was just really cool that he acknowledged it and all that stuff. So, like I said yesterday, that family did not deserve to go through what they went through, and I'm just glad people see most people see what I did with that episode, and I did all that. Like I didn't think in a million, like I just didn't think that it would get as big as it did. But when I looked into the situation and I saw that none of what she was saying was making any sense, I felt so incredibly bad for this family. And I just wanted to do something about it, like, because it just wasn't right at all. And regardless of what some people think, like, my intentions with the whole thing were nothing but genuine. And I just wanted to get the truth out there with it. And it's unfortunate that people do lie about this sort of thing, but it does happen. And it really, really, really does set things back for actual victims, and it's insulting to actual victims for people to do this sort of thing. And yeah, I just think it's nice that Ethan has acknowledged it multiple times and everything else. And I appreciate everybody that, you know, does care about that teacher and does want justice for him and his family. Because I feel in my gut that I did the right thing with it. I really do. But yeah. So, sorry. The story means a lot to me. So, and yeah. I'm going to read a few more chats and I'm going to jump off here. Part 2 totally changed my perspective on Trisha. I'm grateful for the information you put together on her. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yes, definitely justice for Mr. R. Thank you guys. We appreciate your work. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Susan. I appreciate that. Anyone who doesn't think you're being genuine is insane. Yeah, I mean, there's a few people there's a few people out there that really, really disagree with what I did. But I mean, at the end of the day, nobody's going to 100% know the truth about the situation. But I mean, I personally think the evidence speaks for itself with it. And I get people don't want to question people, but you know, this sort of thing does happen. People do lie. And when people lie on other people, it ruins that other person's life. It literally destroys their reputation. And it does happen. It is a sad reality that people will do this sort of thing. And somebody like Trisha, like she has no boundaries on the things that she will say or lie about. And it's really unfortunate that she dragged this teacher through the mud just because she could, you know. Thank you so much, Problematic Fave. I appreciate that. I haven't met another YouTuber who goes in depth as you and provides all the details. I appreciate that. I always want to do as much research as possible, especially when I'm doing like a deep dive on someone. I mean, some of my live streams, I'm just reacting to things, but when I do like a deep dive on someone or put put it like a documentary type video together. I want to get everything as factual as I can for you guys. And I like to research. I think it's fun. I think it's fun, like digging through information, maybe finding something new that's not out there. I mean, it's all, it's, I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it. So, and that's why I hardly upload because I take time in everything I do. So, it takes me a long time to do it, but I think it's worth it in the end. So, you did what she didn't think anyone would take the time to do. Yeah. Yeah. The evidence does speak for itself. Yeah. I think it does. I think it does. So, but yeah. Be nice to Mysterious. Be nice to Mysterious. Haha, just kidding. LOL. Love you. Mysterious, you're one of the best in real commentary channels out there. Keep up the hard work. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys a great deal. I really do. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support and everything else. But I need to jump off here because I know my daughter's going to be like, Mom, you took too long. I don't want to do the movie anymore. So I'm going to jump off here. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. And next weekend, we will do something different as well. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I will see you guys next weekend. Bye, guys. And yes, smash the like button. See you guys.